Hello and welcome. When we talk about India's economic engine, we often highlight the IT sector or the startup boom. But today we look at the silent backbone, the capital goods sector. This is the industry that builds the machines that build everything else. From heavy turbines to intricate machine tools, this sector represents the muscle behind Make in India. As our nation marches toward becoming a $5 trillion economy, the capital goods sector acts as a massive multiplier. For every rupee invested here, the impact ripples across construction, power, and manufacturing. For investors and entrepreneurs, understanding the sector is not just about tracking factories, it's about tracking the very DNA of India's industrial evolution. Let's dive into how these powerhouses are transforming from domestic suppliers to global competitors.
To understand where we are going, we must see where we started. Post-independence, India was heavily reliant on imports for basic machinery. The 1991 liberalization changed the game, opening doors to global technology and competition. We moved from a protectionist era to one of efficiency. In the early 2000s, we saw the first major infrastructure boom, pushing companies like L&T and BEHL to new heights. Today, we aren't just importing, we are innovating. The shift from low-tech manufacturing to high-precision engineering is visible. Indian capital goods are now meeting global standards, allowing us to pivot from being a net importer to a rising export hub for heavy engineering equipment, marking a 15% increase in engineering exports recently.
Why is the sector booming now? The answer lies in aggressive policy support. The Government of India's Production-Linked Incentive (PLI) scheme with an outlay of 1.97 lakh crore is a massive tailwind. This isn't just a subsidy, it's a performance-based push for local manufacturing. Furthermore, the Atman Nirbhar Bharat initiative has forced a rethink of supply chains, prioritizing domestic procurement for strategic sectors like defense and railways. We are seeing 100% FDI allowed in many segments, inviting global giants to set up shop here. This policy framework is designed to increase the manufacturing sector's contribution to GDP to 25%, creating a sustainable ecosystem for capital goods players to thrive for the next decade. The demand for capital goods is being driven by three main pillars. First, the energy transition. With a target of 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity by 2030, the demand for solar modules, wind turbines, and smart grids is skyrocketing. Second, infrastructure. The Gati Shakti Master Plan is integrating roads, railways, and ports, requiring massive earth-moving and construction equipment. Third, the modernization of Indian railways. With the Vande Bharat revolution and dedicated freight corridors, the need for high-speed rolling stock and signaling systems has never been higher. These aren't just projects, they are multi-year demand cycles that provide long-term visibility for order books in the capital goods space. The numbers are staggering. The Indian capital goods market is projected to reach a valuation of over $100 billion by 2025. We are looking at a compound annual growth rate of 12% in several subsegments. But for an investor, it's not just about the size, it's about the quality of growth. Companies are shifting from build to print to build to design. This move up the value chain means better margins and higher intellectual property value. Urbanization is another massive driver. As cities expand, the demand for elevators, HVAC systems, and power distribution transformers grows. The current capacity utilization in many factories has crossed 75%, indicating that a new cycle of private Capex is just around the corner. Who are the players making this happen? Larsen & Toubro, L&T, remains the bellwether with a presence in everything from green hydrogen to defense. Then there's Siemens and ABB, leading the charge in factory automation and Industry 4.0 technologies. We cannot overlook Bell, which is pivoting towards cleaner energy solutions. These companies have massive order backlogs, some stretching over 3 years. For entrepreneurs, the opportunity lies in the supply chain, providing specialized components to these giants. The ecosystem is maturing, and these titans are increasingly looking for local partners who can provide high-quality, precision-engineered parts at competitive prices. Their success is a roadmap for the entire industrial sector. Investing in capital goods requires a stomach for cycles. This is a cyclical sector. It thrives when the economy is expanding and slows down during high interest rate regimes. Key metrics to watch are the debt-to-equity ratio and the working capital cycle. Because these projects take years to complete, cash flow management is king. Look for companies with a high order-to-bill ratio. The rewards are significant: long-term capital appreciation and the chance to participate in India's core growth. However, be mindful of raw material price volatility, especially steel and copper. A diversified portfolio that balances heavy engineering with automation and renewables can help mitigate the inherent risks of this high-stakes industrial game. As we look toward 2047, the centenary of our independence, the capital goods sector is poised to be India's global calling card. We are moving toward Industry 5.0, where humans and robots work in harmony, and sustainable manufacturing is the norm. The transition to green hydrogen and the expansion of the electric vehicle ecosystem will create entirely new categories of capital goods. The story of this sector is the story of India itself: resilient, evolving, and ambitious. Whether you are an investor looking for the next multi-bagger or an entrepreneur building the components of tomorrow, the message is clear. The backbone is no longer silent. It is roaring. Thank you for joining us on this journey through India's industrial powerhouse.